If you were to ask me about a week ago if all four of the hobbits from The Lord of the Rings all make it to the end of the story alive, I would have, without doubt, with 100% certainty, have said yes. I'm a big fan of the movies, and in the movies, all of them make it to the end. But I am reading the book for the first time in my life, and I just finished book 5. And I have to say, I am probably at 99% right now, which isn't that crazy. It's only a 1% chance, or only a 1% difference from where I was last week to this week. But the end of book 5 casts a lot of doubt into my mind and in just the reader's mind for whether or not Pippin is alive. And I have to say, I think he is alive. I for sure think he's still alive. But there is a part of me that I am terrified of, that I think he might be dead. And it all comes in the last 2 paragraphs of book 5 of Lord of the Rings, which is one of the best cliffhangers of all time. And the really sad part is I will not know the rest of the story for if Pippin is alive or dead, because book 5 ends with Pippin's story, and book 6, the last book in Lord of the Rings, picks up with Frodo and Sam again. So I don't know. I'm going to have to wait a long time, a few chapters, to really figure out if Pippin is still alive. But this is the end of the book, and I still cannot believe how stressed I am about whether or not he's alive. I'm like, again, 99% sure that he's alive, but last week I was 100% sure that he was going to make it to the end of the story. And now I have a little bit of doubt cast into my mind. But there's a moment so the end of book 5, here's a little bit of the background. They march to the Black Gate, and at the Black Gate, the army surrounds them, and the troll comes. The same troll that fights Aragorn in the movies. That troll actually fights Pippin, and really that troll fights Baragond, who is a character who's not in the movies at all. But Baragond is an incredible character, helps Pippin out with so much, is probably Pippin's best friend in Gondor right now. Like his true friend. And so there's this moment that happens that it says, at Pippin's side, Baragond was stunned and overborne, and he fell. And the great troll chief that smote him down bent over him, reaching out a clutching claw. For these fell creatures would bite the throats of those that they threw down. Then Pippin stabbed upwards, and the written blade of Westerness pierced through the hide and went deep into the vitals of the troll. And his black blood came gushing out. He toppled forward and came crashing down like a falling rock, burying those beneath him. Blackness and stench and crushing pain came upon Pippin, and his mind fell away into great darkness. So it ends as I guessed it would, his thought said, even as it fluttered away. And it laughed a little within him ere it fled. Almost gay it seemed to be, casting off at last all doubt and care and fear. And then, even as it winged away into forgetfulness, it heard voices, and they seemed to be crying in some forgotten world far above. The eagles are coming, the eagles are coming. For one moment more, Pippin's thought hovered. Bilbo, it said. But no. That came in his tale long ago. This is my tale. And it is ended now. Goodbye. And his thought fled far away, and his eyes saw no more. And that's how book 5 ends. Are you kidding me, J.R.R. Tolkien? For this video, I'm not going to put comments. I'm not going to let people comment because I still just want to be held in, suspension here, and I want to know, I want to form my own opinions about whether I think Pippin's going to be alive or not. But I am just so devastated by this bit of writing. If I was reading this for the first time with no knowledge of the movies at all, I would for sure say that this is the moment that Pippin's died. And I would be gutted because the next book, book 6, starts back with Frodo and Sam's story, and we don't know what happened with Pippin. I just think it is such a masterful bit of writing. I wrote yesterday about how this chapter is the end of book 5 is a perfect segue and reason for why J.R.R. Tolkien split up the book like he did, because he essentially gave us like a mystery story through what happened to Sam and Frodo, because at the very end of this book, there's something that the Mouth of Sauron has, which is the possessions of the chainmail coat. He has Sam's barrow blade, and he also has an elven cloak. And so you're piecing things together going, do they have Sam? Do they have Frodo? And at this point in the book, you don't know, because book 4 ends with Sam and Frodo being split up in Shelob's lair. And it's just such an excellent mystery addition to the end of book 5. And then all of a sudden, as I'm worrying about Sam and Frodo, and as I really want to get back to their story to know what happened, J.R.R. Tolkien does complete about face and makes you not want to get out of that story by potentially killing off Pippin and wanting you to make sure you know what is going on with his story. It is just a masterclass in writing. I say this in almost every video now, but I cannot get over the brilliance of J.R.R. Tolkien. As soon as he makes me want to go back and read Sam and Frodo's story again, and as soon as he's just like putting in me a burning to go back to their story to figure out what happened, he yanks me back out of that at the very end of book 5 and makes me want to know more about Pippin. But I cannot believe it. Like, I know the movies. I'm still almost positive that Pippin makes it to the end of the story, but there is a shadow of doubt that is being cast over my mind right now. And I am just so nervous that the story is going to be slightly different in the book than the movie for how it ends, and that Pippin might not make it through. I can't tell you to tell me what you think and what you feel and what your opinions are, because I'm going to turn off comments for this video so I don't get any spoilers. But that's all I got. I just want to share my thoughts on how I think Pippin might potentially be dead, and I'm nervous about where this story might go. But I am picking up the story again in book 6 on Sunday. If you want to join the live read, it's going to be Sunday afternoon at about 1 o'clock Eastern time. So if you want, you can join then. But that's all I got for today. So make sure you like the video. You can subscribe for more of this kind of content. You can become a member for some members only content. I actually might open the comments for members only if I can even do that. I got to figure out if I can do that. But remember, as always, to look toward Numenor that was, and beyond to Elvenhome that is, and to that which is beyond Elvenhome and will ever be. I'll see you in the next one.